Hello there. And as you can see, you are 10 seconds away from Jove versus VonAsten. It's going to be game 2 of this battle for $20,000. Ed, take it away and tell us who the players are.
Introducing first is the beast from the east, Jove Gaming, and he'll be representing his very own Soviet Union. He's got urban defense tactics at his disposal, guard mortar coordination tactics, and shock rifle frontline tactics. One thing we haven't seen all tournament yet. And up against him in the west is
your boy from the Netherlands. It's VonAsten. This guy, of course, locking in Grand Offensive Doctrine for the first time in this tournament. What an off-meta, off-kilter, crazy strategy. He's going to aim to catch Jove completely off guard. There will be a lot of people that are probably watching this YouTube video for the first time thinking, wow, I'm new to this game. This sounds exciting. Somebody doing something different. I'm not going to spoil the irony of my joke for them. Yes, this is completely different.
bold strategy, Colin. Let's see how it works out for
Let's get on barbed wire cam duties. It's a famous piece of barbed wire inspired by Loveness. Ah! He's going to he doesn't want any more war.
Probably the most trap-inducing barbed wire point I've wired in so many rear echelons on this little tractor.
Das Krieg ist verloren!
But that's why these guys are the pros. They know what they're doing. They're actually shift moving their squad around to make sure they never come in from a certain angle to wire in their own squad.
Wow. Very good.
I found out after way too many hours.
Also for you newbies, they're going exactly on the edge of the capping circle using halt on their keyboards. It's a depending on if you have grid keys or you might want to have the classic keys, it's one of 2 keys. Stern Pioneers coming in with his STGs blazing, forcing away the conscripts for now.
Yep, and conscripts, the choice against OKW's pretty off-meta actually for Jove. Normally the penal build, clown car, takes precedence on Kolodny, but yeah, VonAsten I think hasn't taken the bait, hasn't gone for the early Panzer Fusiliers. Instead,
well, I think one thing for certain is that the balance changes with regards to 7-man conscripts. At the tier 4 upgrade, I think it's making conscripts a lot more attractive in the long run. They had this kind of synergy with support weapons. So with conscripts previously, you wanted to go tier 2 and get a Maxim to help them. But nowadays, you can kind of keep them going with the T70. And then they actually become worthwhile in the long run because they can cap VPs and you can't kill them fast enough. And yeah.
And if we just click on a conscript squad now, you'll just see the Swiss Army style versatility. So many options. And depending what commander you pick as well, they can get even more.
I love merge. Seeing Loveness merge into the flamethrower yesterday is so much utility. But let's talk a little about the kind of psychology of the 2 players here. As VonAsten gets a nice flank off on Jove. Jove's repositioning to the north, though. He wants to try and converge on this Volksgrenadier squad. Stern Pioneers change their minds on this one. By the way, all these 3 squads are going to be coming towards this cutoff in no time. Meanwhile, let's keep an eye on the northern engagement, Ed.
Yeah, and basically, I think going back to your psychology point, Matt, I think VonAsten's psychology at the moment is just not bite his own lip off in rage, because he must have felt so annoyed that he lost that game 1 after a very commanding position. Jove, meanwhile, he's just unflappable, isn't he?
He is. He's like a penguin with his flippers tied to his back. He's unflappable right now.
Pingu, no!
Volksgrenadiers neutralise the cutoff. Then they go for an engagement, but the conscripts are waiting for them, so they're going to be pushed away in no time. Unlucky for VonAsten there. I mean, one thing about VonAsten, I know for a fact he hates Kolodny Firma, so he's playing with a lot of rage already inside him.
Oh, maybe that was why he just had enough after about 20 minutes of the map. But yeah, players do have their favorites. I think it's a very close combat, high octane map, especially later on in the game. The VPs all can get contested at once.
The design behind this tournament was the games 1 and 2 could be on one of 3 variety maps: Longris, Kolodny, and Nexus. And then it's back to the old standard. So if you can survive the variety punishment, you can make it to the safe havens of Faymanville and Crossroads. Ooh, nice flank there by Jove, coming all the way around the rear, going to jump in the church, and that church is going to become a flaming sentinel, and VonAsten sees it and gets the hell out of there.
Scorching 2 lots of Volksgrenadiers, sending them running. You see the blinking red exclamation marked arrow in the top right corner of your screen. That means the squad's on full retreat and you have no control over what they do. They just run as fast as they can back to the base, taking the nearest route. So you have to really watch out when you hit that. We call it a hard retreat, don't we?
We do. The soft retreating, which is within your control, basically just moving away from the engagement to regroup, basically. But a hard retreat is an algorithm all the way back to base, and it can be exploited, Ed. A lot of grenades on retreat in the higher levels of play, for example.
And they do kind of get scared along the way and all huddle up and hold each other's hands, it seems like. So, yeah, you see how clumped they can get. A well-timed helping hands-esque nade can always ruin your day on
he's the king of them.
Retreat path.
Nice sandbag barricade coming up in the centre there. Good mining as well. Jove very good at mining this tournament so far. Well, obviously didn't quite help him against the Mine Master, which is Lovenest yesterday, but it's gotten to the money stage of the tournament. The loser of this best of 5 third place playoff will get $900. The winner will get $2,000.
Well worth upping your game for this final third place playoff then.
Oh, certainly.
These players. Jove still hasn't locked in a doctrine though. We could, well, we've got 66% chance of seeing shock troops, and we saw how devastating they were yesterday.
Oh, Molotov coming. One of the models did drop. There's a small amount of critical damage on the ignition there.
Yeah, good early retreat. Good unit preservation from VonAsten. He will still be seething, I think, from that first game. He's not a guy who kind of takes a loss lightly.
No,
does he?
Absolutely not. He's a
really
fierce competitor.
Involved.
Very fierce, and beats himself up sometimes as well, unfortunately for him, but he's a hell of a player as well. Look at that. You see the heat is making the screen blur.
Yeah,
so many incredible
that bonfire
effects.
effect.
Oh, yeah.
All the heat waves.
Molotov cocktail, so called by the Finnish army in their defense in the Winter War, because, of course, the Soviet foreign minister was Ribbentrop Molotov, so it's kind of an ironic gesture, like a middle finger. But then, obviously, the Russians started using them against tanks. Actually, an anti-tank weapon originally, Ed. You throw them in the engine, blows the tank up. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got everything. And what VonAsten doesn't have, though, he's seriously missing some healing. He needs to get his Sternpires back to provide those medic crates.
Yeah, it does indeed need to keep healed up. Those Panzer Fusiliers having to get out of there, taking the cut-off as Jove. Jove is utterly insurgent right now. I was going to say resurgent, but he's not really ever been fully on the back foot. So he's just seeking to dominate, but here is the answer from VonAsten.
Cutest tank in the game, arguably. The Panzer II Lukes for VonAsten. Such a menace in the early game, but he is facing a triple cap very early on against Jove. Got all the VPs under his control.
Only a Company Heroes fan would see a tool of a dystopic Nazi regime, the Panzer II, and call it cute. But for us, it's the computer game we love, so it kind of takes on a different look, and indeed it is quite a cute tank. Did you
compare it to the Behemoth of King Tiger? Yeah, it's a little cutesy.
Did you come along to Bovington Tank Museum? Because I've stood next to a Panzer II, and it's like standing next to a large Alsatian.
I was well and truly blanked, eh? Thanks for reminding. Don't invite it, don't invite it.
Indeed, it's a very small tank, but in this case it's small and feisty as it punishes conscripts on retreat. And a little bit of explosive damage here as that mine detonates and heavily injures that Foch Grenadier squad. And
one way to sweep him. Get those Volks in.
Nice 18-8 curved over the house almost.
Well, good thing the Volks did hit that mine, so that was not one hitting the retreat of that Luke's. Danger close to going down. I wonder if he'll upgrade his mechanic support structure with repairs already. Oh,
he doesn't fancy building that. Interesting, Jove in base. Must have a lot of fuel. Indeed, he does. He could be thinking Tier 4 rush. In which case, no need to build Tier 3 quite yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he's one for the late game, is Jove. He'll just store anything out. If he was a boxer, he'd just be spoiling all the way until round 12, and then he'll just knock you out when you're exhausted.
This is Jove's camera, by the way. Look at that tripwire flare. Not only for 10 munitions does it kill an enemy soldier, but then ignites the battlefield for you to see. So lovely stuff there.
Yeah. Model drop and free vision, pretty much. Especially if you get a Oberkommander squad tripping on one of those. That's 40 manpower just for 10 munitions. The efficiency. But yeah, here we go with G43s upgraded on Panzer Fusiliers. One of the best squads that have come out now for OKW in the early game.
Certainly.
They have a normal, is a Model 24 grenade?
Yes, it is.
As well as the anti-tank grenade straight off the bat. So, yeah, they get a glorious sprint.
Oh,
they're almost taking a leaf out of the conscripts.
they are a Swiss Army knife indeed, like Commando in his canoe. You know.
Oh, nice attack round there from the flamethrower. Expert play from Jove.
Oh, here we've got a little bit of Luke's action down here. He's just going down south. That was a Soviet mine he just narrowly missed. Combat engineers think there's a squad there, but there isn't. In the north, we've got incendiary rounds dodged, but Molotov was not. First grenade has to be careful. VonAsten just about... No, he does not see it. That's the model dying. Stop, drop, and roll, VonAsten. Oh, dear.
AFK when? No. Catches it just in time.
Does he?
Run, Volky, run.
Meanwhile...
He gets out.
Got engagements in the south as these First grenadiers are in trouble. Luke's in no danger, just causing some issues in the middle.
The early game wombo combo locked in from VonAsten. Luke's into Puma with a couple of MGs. I think this is a Dutch delicacy because they
oh, mine hit, by the way, in combination with the Ziskin. Could follow up here. He's going to drop smoke from the Stukas.
My good looking tank, get out of there.
Very good looking indeed. Oh, nice defense there by VonAsten. Linebacker style, pushing away the Ziskin. You ain't getting no touchdown.
Chest bumped those conscripts out the way. Great work there. Screening play from VonAsten and the smoke just to make sure there's no crazy lucky shot from the Ziskin max.
Great by Jove, by the way. Did you see what he just did?
No.
He noticed that the Polish hammer was coming in on retreat. I named this after players such as Prodigali, Kimbo, etc. And Captain S. Price as well. They always love to group units on retreats, and it's kind of become a flavour of the year, almost. So now we're seeing people like Jove think, I have a conscript. He's on his own. I just saw 5 squads move in the minimap. Time to get the hell out of there.
It's like beware the Ides of March, but beware the Kimbo mad flank, because when they hit you on the retreat path, like I was saying earlier, you have no control over your unit, so it's up to the mercy of the gods and a bit of RNG whether they make it home. But yeah, more squads on your retreat, more likely you are to get those early game wipes.
Certainly. In the centre, we got this MG34 facing there. It was previously in the... Oh no, there's that one in the north as well. So you've got 2 of the blighters on patrol.
Cheeky wire as well, just from VonAsten on that tractor to...
Oh, watch this mine!
Oh,
no!
Save. They knew.
It was the Puma, of course. It was not the Lukes. Oh, we've got engagements in the centre here. Oh, Panda Fusilier is a little bit low. Hopefully for VonAsten. He goes the wrong way there. Should have soft retreated away from that apex. And he didn't, and he suffered another Soldaten loss. So sometimes for the new players it's better to move manually and then retreat to get a favourable retreat algorithm. Unfortunately, VonAsten did not have the time to do that.
Yeah, and the stomping shock troops that proved so well in the game yesterday by taking out a Schwerpanzer headquarters in the build. Oh, they've come onto the battlefield, and these things are lethal at close range.
A lot of damage being done by Jove, but I can see that VonAsten's getting a lot of control of them with a triple cap engaged. Here come shock troops, by the way. They're going to go south. Church is more of a distraction in the audio. We don't really have to look at that, to be honest, because it's just kind of an engagement where nothing will really happen for a while.
You're blessed in the church for a while, yeah. Until you can see the health bar. It's good for days. Puma barely scratches it.
Let's have a little look at the stat screen then and see it's a very equal KD. That shows, by the way, Jove is technically winning on the manpower front because, of course, conscripts are a lot cheaper than Volksgrenadiers and Panzer Fusiliers. So Jove's actually trading up in this game so far, but you would not think it based on the tactical map.
And just to get into that psychology point again, I saw VonAsten plug it away with a Puma trying to attack ground to blow up the mine. Missed about 5 times and gave up on it. Changed the day job, but these shock troops pushing the Volksgrenadiers back safe. It might be a wipe.
Conscripts reloading. Can you reload in time? They need to do drills. That was terrible.
I think Veteran C3 and got more chance then.
The Mosin Nagant rifle, by the way, it's actually a patriotic symbol even today in Russia because it embodies their resistance against their Western invaders, but it was actually quite shoddy and prone to jamming and all sorts. But
that Finnish sniper didn't complain, did he?
No, he got the most confirmed kills, in fact. That even adds more to the mystique, I suppose. And Vasily Zaitsev as well, of course, famous Soviet sniper.
Yeah.
Oh, nice stun grenade there, causing problems.
Shock Troop still. It's so hard to push off the field. There's even a Lukes, but the AT guns backing up the Shock Troops. This Volkswagen has got to get out of there. Great play there from Jove. Good solid hold on the South VP.
Yeah, got a couple of engagements at any one time. He throws a smoke grenade to keep the victory point dream alive. We've got a nice insurgency. He's using the machine gun as the rear unit, and this is classic Common Heroes play. I know Ed's vision has been drawn to a bigger thing to talk about right now, and that, of course, is that we've got this piece of logs here. These 2 logs, Ed. I really like how they lie on the battlefield.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee of logs. No, we've got a KV-1 in the build, and this thing is just... Well, as you say earlier in previous cast come by, it's a flamethrower tank.
Oh, it is indeed.
The KV, Holy, well, we've got a brand new commander for this game we haven't seen in the tournament, so forgive me. Yeah, KV-8 flamethrower tank. Awfully hard to deal with.
The MG's just triggered a mine, by the way. I think the unit retreating past him triggered that mine there, and we've got crawlers. Oh, this reminds me of a very crap film from a few years ago. I'm not going to talk about it on Relic Stream too much, but yeah, it's the human caterpillar.
SDG is possible now for VonAsten as well if he gets a Schwerpanzer out on his, which he does. I don't know if he's upgraded it yet, but he's got the potential there for some glorious Knights Crossholder Obersoldaten with the SDG's late game.
Oh, but here's Big Bert. He's going to be spewing nitroglycerin in your face very soon.
Bye-bye cover. Hatred from the Lukes for those sandbags.
Zisgun's pushing up, Shock Troops pushing in. Meanwhile, we've got a tight formation of Volks Grenadiers moving in the south. KV-8, which direction is he taking? All the way north. Luke's chilling for now.
Yep, no telemine this time with OKW. Can only do shoe mines. KV-8's a bit safer, but yeah, pushing away the Lukes.
Let's check out the mid. Oh, Shock Troopers nearly getting a kill on the Stern Pioneers. Let's check out the south.
3 on 3, SDGs versus Mosen. Who's your money on, eh?
Well, it's 3 on 2 now, so... Oh, I tell you what, Sturmgewehr's getting a nice kill.
Should have gone with those 2 SDGs. But yeah, good play there. Still the light vehicles down, just must feel so...
Lovely shot
versus this KV-8.
Well,
it's really going to be a tough matchup.
Dominant on the battlefield, isn't it? He's had to build a Rakettenwerfer, but no veterancy on that thing, and we all know what a 0-vet Rakettenwerfer's like. Oh, this is going to be nice. Look, check out for this nade on retreat, perhaps. Does he have the munitions? No, he does not. That is unfortunate for Jove. He certainly would have gone for that. We've also had a bit of Stuka smoke on retreat for VonAsten to allow his Volks Grenadier a safe passage.
Avoid the toasting there. Good play from VonAsten. Just shows what munitions is later on in the game, how useful it can be. You swing crucial little engagements like that.
Well, I don't know how anybody can dislike Holodny Firma. Maybe it's hard to play on at the top level, but from a casting and viewing perspective, it makes for very exciting games, in my opinion.
Yeah, and even as you transition into the late game, you still get the cutoff being taken, like as we just saw a couple of minutes ago from VonAsten. So it's a good open map, and your pressure is rewarded.
Got the 82mm PM41 building, so mortar smoke and just harassment of those machine guns to come. Oh, KV-8's found some prey.
Oh, barbecuing that Curtain squad. Loses 2 models as well. That whole squad's going to go down. He can't retreat in time.
The Puma's trying his hardest, but nothing's happening here. The KV's holding firm. Ooh, conscripts could come for a nice oorah here.
Nope, they're just going to casual. If that's a new R, then they are.
Cool guys.
On their day off.
Don't look at explosions.
A mild jog.
They just run into it. Oh, they get decrewed immediately thanks to the Panzer II Lukes.
Still a bit of flames left around, I think, from their KV-8 team kill, please.
By the way, Jove could have supported this engagement a little bit better, perhaps. He's got a lot of units in the south. He's ended up with a machine gun, but he is prioritising capping, and that has worked for him very well in the tournaments thus far, notably against DevM, etc. He's outlasted them in the long run.
Yep, VonAsten does manage to get his Raketen crew back safely to home. Double MG still up. He's got all the tools. Just needs to get a big late game tank out. Ooh, maybe.
Juicy. Zisgun with cloak. Watch this first shot bonus as he targets the Stern Pine. He couldn't have seen him. That makes sense, right? He couldn't see him. There you go.
I thought he was going to go for the pump action shell to face technique Von Ivan barrage with the Zisgun there.
Puma's mocking him. The turret traverse, well, the Zisgun traverse was not fast enough. A little bit of blue on blue friendly flaming action there. Puma's trying to get round the side. We've also had the turret changed to the, I think it's a 45mm.
Yeah, can still do some damage, especially to the squishy Puma. Glass cannon that it is. Second Zisgun bringing in from Jove. He's going to stall now for this late game IS-2 tank, but I like his unit composition. He's got the GG mortar in that.
Oh, yes.
Hype for that. He's got a Ved 2 flaming Pioneer. They're so cheap in 170 manpower as well. Such a good thing for the Soviets. Very cheap and efficient. Then he's got 7-man conscript squads with the icing on the cake shock troops on top.
MG34 doing work here. The conscripts could not split up in time. However, one was behind green cover, meaning that he got a lot of DPS down on the MG34, so it won't matter. Here's that second Zisgun that Ed was talking about. He's got them grouped up as well. That's what you want to do, to be honest. It's better to have 2 Zisguns capable of killing a tank than separate Zisguns capable of pushing one away.
Especially if you get that snare off with a mine or an 18-8, suddenly the double whammy effect of 2 Zisguns, your tank can go from 100 to 0 very quickly.
Mortar's first action was to get uncovered by the Fox Grenadiers, who in turn meet a hot stream of molten fury.
Yeah, KV-8 proving itself at the moment in this fight. We haven't seen one this tournament. I can't remember seeing one before.
I think Jove has had one game with this commander. That's the only time I've seen it, but it is very unique
nice
to him.
Nice pocket strap though, Pig.
Oh,
especially
certainly.
in this serious game.
Big shout out for using the Western armies as well. Soviets and Wehrmacht for Jove so far this series. And getting a win as Wehrmacht on KFS. Not bad.
Swag points there. Extra style for Jove. Crushing that. Doesn't want side blockers anymore.
No, he's trying to reduce the global oxygen levels for VonAsten here. Jove's been training in the Himalayas, by the way, or the Ural Mountains rather, and he thinks he can survive.
All participants are blood tested, so no blood doping is allowed.
Indeed.
For this World Championship series. We'll go through the Floyd Mayweather style testing leading up to the matches. Very, very tight competition though here. Could still swing either way. I do like VonAsten's late game choices, so with the Panzer Commander upgrade, calling another off-map artillery potentially with the Tiger.
Oh, nice shot there from the Zisgun, just momentarily seeing the Puma, making up for its earlier transgressions and getting a decent shot off. Ooh. Also, follow-up on the Puma there. Meanwhile, Mortar's laying some smoke down, or no, that was the shock troops, but it is laying barrages down on these troops moving up.
Yeah, you do not want to close in on against shock troops. Those PPSHs just tear you a new one on your squads.
Conscripts pushing up, trying to consolidate the map for Jove, but VonAsten's got some bona fide killers moving up to the north side of the map.
Yeah, and I'm impressed with VonAsten, to be honest, to have both light vehicles still alive at the 22-minute mark. We never got that hero King Kubel, but
no.
He's definitely kept these light vehicles alive a lot better than a lot of other competitors in this tournament.
Finally met in combat 7-man conscripts versus the Fox Grenadiers. There we had a bit of a lull in activity.
Yep, 7-man cons doing what they do best in green cover. It's outlasting the opponent's
Let's check
squads.
the fuel counts and see how close we are, of course, to the IS-2 and the Tiger. Jove does, of course, have his mechanised up. That's why you're able to see the KV-8. That was the mitigation to the call-in metas you used to see in Company Heroes 2. So he's at 188 and he's 230. VonAsten, meanwhile, does have his Schwer up. It's been sitting here. It's not even been approached yet by Jove. He's getting very close. He also needs 230.
If I had to bet, I think VonAsten's a bit close. He's got way more manpower than Jove at the moment, who seems to be bleeding a bit. And but Jove, in contrast, has 32 fuel permitted, so one's going to get the fuel earlier than the other, and the other's got the manpower.
Really close race. We may even see simultaneous heavy tanks emerge onto the battlefield.
Hope we do. Long range, this shot doesn't quite wipe the Raketten crew though.
No.
4 models, no HP between them. I think that leads to retreating pretty soon for VonAsten.
Certainly. Somebody's asking in chat, is the final today? Of course it's today. We're going to watch the 3rd place playoff and then the final. Pretty traditional for the Company Heroes tournaments we've had in the past. And that's what we're going to be seeing. Best of 5 between Jove and VonAsten. The winner gets $2,000. The loser gets $900 only. What a schmo.
Oh, only. Still good, still good.
And then, of course, we'll have the grand final later for a whopping $10,000. And all the pride, respect, etc. that comes along with it.
And for a few more hours, well, 2 hours, 20 more minutes, CoH2 is free to download and free to play, so
Free to keep as well.
Yep.
Free to keep forever.
if you've got your Steam open right now and haven't got CoH2 already, give it a go. It's a brilliant game. It's given hours and hours of entertainment for a lot of people in this community.
MG34 being protected by the Stern Pioneers there. Meanwhile, KV8's on a spree in the south. The Lukes is powerless. However, turrets targeted one of the two soldiers retreating as the other got kind of split up, which will save the squad. It's all about saving squads, which isn't what's happening in the shock there.
X-range shot for the Lukes. Awesome work from VonAsten's live vehicle plane. We mentioned, would it be VonAsten or Jove to get the big tank out first? Freudian slip, got to let it out the back. It's already on the field.
And here he is, the big lad, the Tiger. Hello there. He's a big old chap, the Tiger. He's had many a gruesome battle.
Mr. Pigglesworth, as they called him in the,
All the way
in the
up.
9th Panzer Division.
That's how we're going to see him, Mr. Pigglesworth. And you've got to imagine the Tiger's been on a long train journey to get to this particular part of the Eastern Front, Ed, and he's very peed off, and he's very angry, and the crew are very upset that they've been missing out on all that killing action. So there you are, nice 5 kills in less than a minute for the Tiger.
2 wipes already for VonAsten, one by the Tiger and one by the Lukes. This is brilliant comeback play from VonAsten.
But here's the Airsift Stalin tank. Stalin's answer to the Tiger. Build me big tank. Well, here he is, 122mm cannon, rears its ugly head. Oh, nice 18-8 as well. Is the Tiger now a sitting duck?
No, it hasn't got the Cis guns in position. With a double Cis and IS-2, he could have closed the show.
Oh, they're just beyond the veil there. However, you can see a bit of the debris move in the fog of war. KV8's also coming to try and clear any Raketenwerfers, which is, by the way, in retreat. Will Jove push the agenda here, or is he a little bit worried about Fausting action? Yes, he is. Let's take fog of war back off and unveil the war.
Jove didn't want to risk it there. I think he could have closed the show if he had that Von Ivan-esque all-in GG push with his tanks there. That was a snared Tiger on half HP. Potentially opportunity lost there for Jove.
Unfortunately for our entertainment, it makes Von Ivan the most entertaining player of all time, but not the most winningest. And Jove possibly right to back off there. What you have to be scared of what you can't see. Imagine if he pushed in, got engine damage, the Puma comes around the back, and could have finished the job there.
That was very lucky, just showing sloped armor and Russian engineering. That was an 18-8 after taking an AT shot on the IS-2. Did not snare the engine.
Has to get to a certain amount. I think it's 10% less health. It has been 90% health to get engine damage from a snare. Somebody in chat confirm the exact percentage would be very useful.
Huge HP pool on that IS-2 tank. Well, we've got the battle of the Titans though, at least. We've got a Tiger versus an IS-2.
Oh yeah.
Late game hype again.
Company Heroes is this beautiful combined arms game, Ed, except when the heavy tanks come out and then we just go tanks.
Infantry section splattered. Yeah. But yeah, 2 wipes already going for the way of VonAsten.
75% or less, so even bigger of a movement needed. And the IS-2 with a huge... There you go, that would be less than 75. That would be more than enough. Oh, I tell you what, these Zis guns are in excellent position. Veteran 2 on this bad boy for better penetration. And there you see it, straight through that frontal armor.
Good attack ground shot as well from the other Veteran C1, Little Brother Zizgun. That's a hell of a trap. If he overextends into that VonAsten, it'll be curtains for his Tiger.
Luke's just on VP protection duty in the north. In the centre, we're getting some decent carping down.
Lola numbers sprayed into the air like confetti there. A lot of Volks go down as well. Good solid defense here from Jove. I think this favors him, this late game. Set up your big line of defense. Let your opponent walk onto the guns.
164 victory points remain for VonAsten. He's got to be careful about that. It's capping the south as we speak, so he's certainly taking heed. Veteran C1 on the Raketenwerfer for allowing cloak, and he's just chilling out, daring the IS-2 in. Tiger is going to use a church as cover, which is pretty tasty.
Good sight blocker there. Anything you can utilize around the map. And a nice T-34-76, probably just for ramming capabilities and disrupting the enemy's lines, because back in the day, I think in the Battle of Kursk, they just drove straight past the enemy armor.
There was some horrendous tales from Kursk, especially when the Germans went into retreat. The T-34s basically went into crush mode. It was pretty,
just ran over artillery guns. And
everything. Yeah, they became like traditional cavalry, basically.
Well, they've kept that kind of mechanic for this game, and the ramming ability can prove crucial, and it's especially utilised well when you know you're going to lose the tank anyway.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful effects. Coming Heroes 2. This game was made in 2013. Can you believe it?
Definitely keeps up well. Looks amazing. Sounds amazing. KV-8, big, strong armor. It's like a 5-year-old drew a tank, as he said once.
Indeed.
So robust and basic design, but it works.
Luke's looking for a little bit of a flank off, but he does get behind that green cover. It's not going to last very long, especially if Puma has something to say about it. Excellent at killing cover, that vehicle. Oh, nice Sis barrage straight into their faces. T-34 also in position and follows up with a nice AoE shot.
Oh, these are high veterancy infantry squads. You cannot be affording to lose these, so good early retreat there from VonAsten. Realised that Sis barrage is more random than he can predict, so gets out of there in good time.
VonAsten suffering on the micro front now. He's making a few dodgy little clicks here and there that are resulting in big movements for his big tanks. Tell you what, Ed, you can afford to misclick small units, but Tigers, you have to be a bit more careful and precise because they have...
That's the memo I never really got. I find the infantry, they shout out and then they give you a lot of audio cues, don't they, when they're in trouble or grenades coming. But with your tanks, they can soon get wiped so fast, especially with multiple AT guns for your opponent. Yeah, it's a lot harder to manage your armor, I feel, than your infantry squads.
Just had a decrew of a weapon in the north there, thanks to the Molotov, and the T-34 braves the Puma's anti-tank capabilities.
And you can see this little back and forth jive from the Puma. He's just getting in range and then using the reverse key to back straight back out without taking any incoming damage. It's a good play here from VonAsten.
Nice mines as well. Going straight for the VP there, Jove. He's going for a mine. That's the kind of thing that will win you the game. Yep. Just having that presence of thought to think mines, because later on that will help indeed. Oh, Battle of the Heavies. They've both had the same idea of repositioning into this particular quadrant of the map.
Finally, they fronted up against each other. They've been trying to bully other vehicles for the rest of the game, but now finally get the square off. No infantry around for either player, though. Give the vision.
That was an attack ground, by the way. He wasted around there in the IS-2. A bit more.
Oh, Puma gets Bolshe and has a go of his own against this IS-2. Could get a stun shot off.
Could indeed. Target weak point enabled. Oh, big penetrations. Meanwhile, KV-8's gone into the support weapons. It's eating some Raketten fire and gets Fausted. MG34 pushed away. VonAsten Grenadiers forced that capping conscript away so they could prioritise the victory points, but he's doing that in the south, doesn't need to do it right now. A lot going on as the Tiger is damaged, as is the Puma. T-34's coming in, we may see a ram very shortly. He's thinking about it.
Snared up as well. It's crippled, trying to get back
Gotta be thinking about it, surely.
But look how risk-averse Jove is, does not want to risk it, and instead gets the counter-wipe in the mid. VonAsten goes down to the KV-8.
Yeah, that's good though. If you don't risk something, you can prioritise something else. You can get some big kills. And yeah, VonAsten losing a big squad there.
Saving that big brain power and applying where it's needed there is Jove. So awesome counter-attack from him there. Caught the jab and countered with a left hook.
We just used the adjective big 4 times in 3 sentences there, Ed, combined, I think.
Well, we get the thesaurus out for game 3, don't we?
We will do. 33 minutes.
Not my fault, all of the Russian tanks are huge.
They are. Big chonkers. Well, 33 minutes into this particular battle. This is game 2 of the 3rd place playoff for $2,000. VonAsten Grenadiers push in. Conscript can't quite get the munitions they need. Let's check out the situations in the south. The victory point seems to be... Oh, grenade I heard in the north. My bad.
All quiet on the southern front. Everybody's being whisked off to the top and mid, it seems.
Felt like I was playing then. I heard that grenade. IS-2. Oh, decruiser Rakettenwerfer now leaving the MG34 vulnerable. What was VonAsten microing? He was possibly looking in the south, trying to micro his units into position. He's also going into the centre, leaving the north vulnerable.
Yep. Trying to flank round as well to silence that GG mortar. Can't quite get it. And the mortar's so pivotal in this map because there's a lot of hedges, a lot of cover. And before you crush them down with your heavy tanks, they can just get so many unanswered shots off. Cover a large area.
KV-8, look at the speed he just boosted with over that little patch of road there.
I don't think I've ever seen Veterancy 3 KV-8. Normally, somebody gets too adventurous with them and loses them in the first 5 minutes.
Exactly. Well, before your time in about 2014-15, they were beastly. They were like
Were they vogue?
Oh, they were in vogue, and then they've been out of things, but I think Jove's trying to bring them back into style. It's like one of those things you had in the back of your wardrobe for years, and all of a sudden you bring it back out and you're the cool cat. Oh, Tiger's pushing in through the centre. T-34's watching on. There's a bit of a shot trap there, needs to be careful. The wall's destroyed.
This is a bit risky though from VonAsten, leaving the
is.
Puma out to dry almost.
Tiger just absolutely tanked those shots with no irony intended, completely unscathed there. Let's check out this engagement. Infantry in the southwest. Looks like they're just repositioning for now. We'll keep an eye on that later. Centre, it's all about the big chonkers.
Especially with the late game armor player, you've got to prioritize those targets. If one has been penetrated twice by shells, you latch onto that one, go try and finish it off with everything you've got, rather than just spreading out the damage against multiple vehicles.
Hey, I tell you, I like this choice from VonAsten. He's now getting the Panther, which specialises in tank-on-tank combat. It's the F-30, well, it's more like the F-22 Raptor of tanks. It's very much an tank superiority tank.
Well, that's GG then, isn't it? Wow. The big build-up. I haven't had so much luck with Panthers in my playing
they're a
career,
precision tool, Ed. You know,
yeah.
yes, only a surgeon can use a scalpel. I wouldn't. Tiger pushes in, perhaps trying to bait people into the Panther trap, because the Panther is indeed moving them to that north quadrant. Elsewhere, let's check out this engagement. T-34 has been damaged. These guys are still battling. I told we didn't have to keep that close an eye on them. They're still going at it. Finally, they both retreat, in fact, because the victory point is in Jove's favour.
Yeah, he's got less to lose.
Congestion as all the tanks push into a very narrow alleys. Conscript hasn't had the munitions to throw his 18A quite yet, could do so now. Is waiting for his moment as the Tiger pushes in for the IS-2, who's now facing away from his own lines as the Panther also pushes in. The IS-2 is in peril, Ed. Puma's come round the rear as well.
Pound is getting flanked and shanked from all angles here. IS-2's gotta go down. The brand new Panther tries to abandon, does get finished off.
Ziskun's in great position though. Jove does position and defend quite well. We've got an abandoned critical 1 in 20 chance, and now it's the Wehrmacht's turn. Can they escape having done the crime? Can they get away with it scot-free? They've got 3 tanks to maneuver. The Puma's already died.
The hero Zisgun got decrewed as well amongst all the medley from the Lukes. Veterans 4 now. This is it for VonAsten. I think he's going for it. He's throwing everything into the wind.
Oh, but the IS-2 wants to pay. Wants to make you pay.
No. The rebuilding ability of the Russian industry. IS-2 already
One big
replaced.
penetration needed here. IS-2 could get that crit, and it gets it.
Mr. Pigglesworth, no.
Oh, and the Panther pushes in, trying to punish the IS-2. VonAsten throws in the towel because his Panther decision has led to disaster. His all-in push got turned around on his head, and he ended up paying the iron price for his transgressions. 2-0 to Jove.
Angriffstruppe ist unterwegs. Ziel erkannt. Abrufzone markiert.
Wow, we did not see that coming. I think when that engagement started, Ed, you were like, my boy VonAsten, he's going straight back into things.
Finally a GG push from him, but it got turned on its head. Amazing flanking and playing and outmaneuvering of that IS-2. It's a bit bulky, bit sluggish, but then Jove, just to be able to save up all that manpower fuel to bring in the second one, must have crushed VonAsten's dreams there.
I just think, okay, so Ed here is Holodny Firma, east side. It was an amazing positioning of the Ziskuns on Ed's chin and right part of his chest.
All 3 of them.
Facing back eastwards, and then he manoeuvred the IS-2 out of his lines, forcing the Tiger, the pursuing
I
Tiger.
went a bit this way and
yeah, exactly.
exposed my right rib to Puma shots, Tiger tank, everything, but just the amount of armor he'd lost in that push, it was not replaceable for VonAsten. So he went for it. Kudos for going all in. He had to, I think.
Unfortunately for VonAsten, we saw a little bit of a few of the reasons why we don't doubt his skill, but we've always doubted his temperament somewhat, because he threw that Panther in because he was annoyed at the fact that his all-in push had turned into a bit of a 50-50 kind of stalemate scenario. He did, he did lose the Tiger for the Ice 2, but he had a lot of fuel. He had a lot of map control. He had VPs. He hadn't quite lost the game at that point until he threw the Panther in.
Yeah.
And throwing the Panther in crazily at that point was not the correct decision, and that cost him the game.
Yeah, a bit of impatience, but I think just looking at his mindset on how he's playing, he was just probably getting so frustrated with Jove dragging every game so late. He just wanted a clear-cut, right, this is my chance, I'm going for it.
He did the right thing in the push.
Yeah.
He couldn't get away with it. That's what I mean. When you go for these all-in pushes like VonAsten often does, it's get in, get out. You have to draw the line somewhere, because if they're surviving, like these players like Jove, like VonAsten, they're calm under these all-in pushes. They're like, okay, big lad, I'll just reposition my Ziscons. Oh, you've decrewed one. I'll recrew it. I'll stay calm. And after that point, then the danger flips. You'll have a few damaged engine criticals to deal with. You'll have lower health on your tanks.
Definitely.
And you just have to get out of there. You can't then all of a sudden think, oh, my Panther's still alive, I'll go back in. No, it's get in and get out. You do not hesitate. And for me, I think he made the wrong decision.
Yep. Well, that's your view on it. For me, I think it was the right decision, but he could have saved a bit longer for those extra munitions, being that Wehrmacht and OKW, well, Axis armor usually get blitzkrieg on their big tanks, and you need some backup munitions for a big GG push like that. He didn't have the munitions, and he didn't really have the manpower infantry to support it up. Keep that vision and the combined play going for the snares on enemy vehicles. But yeah, great play from
If he'd
Jove.
just gotten a few infantry squads, like a couple of Folks Grenadiers perhaps, just through past the church and into that area of play, could have gone a different way as well. That's another way of looking at it. I agree with you as well.
But great game nonetheless. Sets us up well for game 3, which is a must-win game for VonAsten. LC's out at $900 compared to $2,000.
It's a big difference. 45%.
You're doubling up and more some. So
exactly.
Gotta go for
and
it.
we design these prize pools that way, so you never want to give up on any game. So do not doubt VonAsten for a millisecond. He will be fighting hard, but we can't take away from the fact that he's definitely down on his chips right now.
Can Jove keep this absolute wall of playstyle up? It's like, well, you come on to me, I'll see you in the late game. But I think VonAsten, if anything, needs to go probably USF, get God knows how many WC-51s and just try and obliterate him out of the game in the first 10 minutes. We'll see.
There will be swapping maps, of course, now. It'll either be Faymanville or Crossroads. You can check the brackets with exclamation mark brackets to figure that out.
Yep.
And we will be swapping over. The idea of the third place playoff is Ed's match, where Dan and I will swap out, and then Dan and I will take the entirety of the grand finals later on.
Gotta have that stamina.
That's right. You gotta have that stamina. So we're all gonna go on a momentary wait screen. We might even play you a trailer, actually. Let's do that. That's a little tiny bit more fun. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Dan and I will take you into game. Well, Dan and Ed rather will take you into game 3. Thank you.
Great.
The CoH2 World Champion, Aim Strong, with the heavyweight champion of the world.